Sessy, I view you as a bit of a wild man, so I imagine you love this wild card weekend, which was, well, wild.
No, it was wet, it was wild, it was right up my alley.
A slip and slide of football greatness. It's time to heed the call. Hey, welcome to Heed the Call, an NFL podcast, the wild card playoff edition. Dan Hanzus here with Marc Sessler. Of course, Conor Orr via satellite from a very sad Philadelphia. Oh, baby. And Justin Graver on the ones and twos. We are recording this mere minutes after the completion of Patriots and Chargers. The Chargers no-showed so hard in this game that I actually forgot their name for a second there. But yes, it was the Chargers who were defeated in the late game. And with that said, Mark, let's throw up where the bracket is for the Super Bowl trophy, also known as the Lombardi. We have next week divisional round playoffs, and we love it. Sessy, we love the divisional round. A lot of people say pound for pound the best round of football there is. We're going to have the number 6 Niners at the number 1 Seahawks, the number 5 Rams at the number 2 Bears, the number 6 Bills at the number 1 Broncos, and the number 2 Patriots hosting the winner of Steelers-Texans on Monday night. What a weekend, Sessy.
They're all great games, and we just experienced what was, and I know I feel like we say things like this, but I had been watching some version of the NFL wild card since 1985. Okay, I get it, I'm old, but Jesus. Like pound for pound and game for game, minus maybe one. This was the best wild card weekend ever. I mean, it was like an NFL's like fever dream that you would, if someone told you this would happen beforehand, you'd be like, no. We're going to get 2 stinkers or at least 2.5. Absolutely not. Every one of these games were exactly what the NFL wants the NFL to be.
Connor, looking spiffy, by the way, in your sport jacket. You're a real professional. Who was it in the Giants locker room? He'd be very proud right now. The defensive lineman.
Yeah, Justin Tuck. Maybe have him get a look at me now and see what it's.
Well,
proud of me now, Dad.
It took me almost 40 years to learn how to do this. But yeah, no, I thought this was a relatively good weekend, and I think I hate to be that guy, but I am keeping an eye on the fact that I want the Rams and Bills to wind up together. Like, that's the game I want. It's the biggest collection of stars. It's the highest Q rating game, and I'm not going to be one of those narrative guys, but the fact that those two teams are still alive is very much a positive in my book.
But wasn't it a good weekend because we came very close to both of them not being alive?
Yes.
Right.
Little twinge of fear makes you worry about it a little bit, and then they go on their run.
And that's important, though. And remember the psychological test that we ran on Thursday, the preview show. What came to us immediately? The Bills, the Rams. But they're not the only ones still alive. Let's dig into all the games in this, yes, truly wild card round. There was a stat or a nugget that was shared at the 2-minute warning of the Eagles-Niners game that the team to that point, and by then it was the 4th game of the weekend. To that point, every team winning at the 2-minute warning of the fourth quarter went on to lose the game. Now the Niners broke that, and we'll get to that. But that just gives you an idea of how crazy this is. But let's start with a brilliant football game played on the AFC side of the bracket. And as a little treat, I think everybody's going to love this. Justin and I have been cooking this up in the kitchen.
Okay.
As a little treat for the playoffs, let's start with some radio calls.
Lawrence back to pass, looking on an inbreaker, broken up and intercepted, picked off by Cole Bishop. Game, set, match. Buffalo's gonna win the wild card game here in Jacksonville.
Whoa! Oh, wowzer!
Look at that.
Welcome back, Chris Brown, WGR 550.
Hello.
With the call. One of those performances when Josh Allen, when it's all said and done, and Josh Allen is wearing the gold jacket in Canton. We don't know if he's going to have a Super Bowl ring. But you can't take away performances like this after the reigning MVP took a pounding in the first half by a very game Jaguars defense. he put the team on his back in the second half, leading Buffalo to its first road playoff win in more than 3 decades, 27-24. Mark, an unbelievable performance by Allen, who, it looked like he wasn't even going to survive the first half. He entered with a bad foot. A guy fell on him at one point, right on his head. He went and got checked for a concussion. He banged his hand, and yet he persevered and led Buffalo to a massive win in the wild card.
I think the hand injury seemed potentially very serious if it would have been worse than he allowed it to be. I mean, he played through multiple bodily injuries. That's Josh Allen. And there was this one moment in this game, because I thought for me with Josh Allen, it was what was taken away from him. He was playing with almost nothing at wide receiver. The running game, which you thought was going to be a huge part of this contest if you wanted to win, James Cook never really got going, and the run game didn't either. And it was really down to Josh Allen. And I think about this one play with about 4 minutes to go. They're trailing 24-20 to the Jaguars. And Josh Allen, like he did all game, unfurls a 37-yard shot to Brandon Cooks, where he is destroyed on the play. It goes 40 yards through the air on his back foot, and it sets up, after a couple more plays, the game-winning touchdown. And it's like that, to me, that image is what Josh Allen was in this game, taking incredible punishment, getting up time and again, playing through injury, playing through an offensive roster that was compromised against a great run defense and an amped-up Jaguars team, and he came out on top. Like, it was a signature. You're right. There are a lot of big Josh Allen wins, but this came after a week where people were getting on him nationally. Like, it's all on you, and if you don't get this thing done, then the Josh Allen narrative starts to switch a little bit. And he said no. And I think he was very emotional about it after the game. He simply would not allow this team to lose.
Let's listen to little Josh Allen after the contest.
Hey, team! We stay here. We stay here. We don't f***ing blink, all right? We get one more. That's the reward for doing what we did today. We get one more. Now we got to go earn it again, all right? Come on now. Shooters, shoot. Love y'all, boys. What else they want today?
Shooters effing shoot.
You're right, though, Mark. I mean, that throw was – they'll play that in Buffalo for decades, especially if they go and do what we think that they're capable of doing. There were 2 different zones that Cooks had to pass through on that while he's getting hammered, and that ball has to land in that spot and that spot only. But I think this was a big game, too, for McDermott, for Tre'Davious White, for that defense finally making some plays in some critical situations. And we talk about getting a national kind of narrative or a monkey off of someone's back. McDermott, too, carried the weight of that team on his shoulders into that game too. And so I think he needed this just as badly as anyone else did.
Yeah, let's check in with Sean McDermott in the locker room. And I want to say this, knowing what everyone knows, if you're a football fan and you're listening or watching this show right now, you know what happened in Chicago with Ben Johnson. We'll get to that later. Here's McDermott. I thought it was notable the vibe of the locker room as McDermott spoke, knowing full well that the Bills, it's not just about winning a wild card round. Like, this team knows this is the time to get to the Super Bowl. The pressure is on, and they sound very much on task for what could be an extended playoff run.
Heck of a win and incredible toughness, man. I'm going to tell you what.
Yeah.
This football team is as tough as I've ever seen it, and it's not stopping. The job's not finished. It is not finished. Hey, we're going to celebrate this. We need everybody getting healthy, getting those treatments. We got a big challenge next week, man. Hey, we're learning something about ourselves every game. We pick each other up along the way. Someone goes down, somebody steps up. Somebody else goes in, they step up, man. A true team and a lot of love for each other, man. Super proud of you guys, man. We knew what was in front of us coming down here. Good football team. 60 minutes. That's what it's going to take. It's going to take it again next week.
And I just want to point out, because I talked about it on Thursday, the Jaguars came into this game looking like an absolute terror for any team that was getting them in the first round. And I don't think the Jaguars choked or played poorly in this game. I thought it was a really evenly played back and forth game, and Buffalo is just the better team at the end of this game. But for the Bills to handle this Jaguars team in this what had become this really special. I had talked about how the vibes are so great in the locker room for Jacksonville with Liam Cohn, with Trevor Lawrence finally finding it, with Travis Etienne being this guy behind him that was making big plays, what they've been able to do in their passing game and the strides that they've made, the home field advantage in Jacksonville. All that was all of that was against Buffalo in this game. So that to me, Mark, like even underlined more. And it's something I said on Thursday. I thought Jacksonville profiled where they were going into this game. And it speaks to what this league is right now. It's completely unpredictable. As the team playing at a higher level, at home, with a better record, I thought they would win a very close game. But I also thought if the Bills somehow get past the Jags, I don't think I could pick against them again. And that's how I feel after this game.
Yeah, I wrote a note. I just said, this frees the Bills. Because this was kind of like the pressure-packed scenario against this upstart team that everyone in the last 3 weeks, it's like the new girl at school and everyone decided they love the Jacksonville Jaguars all of a sudden. But the Bills, it's like, don't forget about us. And like, they just needed moments. I think when you're on the road, you need little moments. And the one that I kind of pointed to was that in the first half, when the Bills had botched that fumbled kick return, and the Jaguars are set up for an easy score, and then maybe you just take the game from there. Like maybe you just start to break the Bills psychologically, and it's 4th and 2, and this Sean McDermott defense stops Trevor Lawrence as he launches for the first. His knee was ruled down. They had to go do a little bit of challenge there, and it was a good challenge by McDermott. They said he had to do it, and he did do it. It took a little bit of time, but that kind of set the Bills up for like, wait a minute, we can stop these guys. And like Jordan Poyer got hurt in this, but then like Shaq Thompson steps up. Like it just seems like the Bills are a team right now, and they can overcome a lot of nonsense to win a game like this.
I'll challenge the idea that Jacksonville, it wasn't a game that they lost theoretically. I do think that Cohen did take his foot off the accelerator in terms of the run game. I mean, you had one of your backs averaging, I think, 12.5 yards a carry, and then ETN was like 6 or 7 yards a carry. And I mean, Tootin especially was gashing Buffalo at different times in this game. And I want to make sure I get it right. I think it's 16 carries between the two of them at the end of the game. I mean, I just don't think that's enough. And Buffalo, they struggle on the run. That's a team that you can grind down and you can get the ball out of Josh Allen's hands. I just thought they could have done a better job on that front a little bit.
They have 14 combined carries. You're right.
Yep.
Yeah, I have a stat here. Jacksonville was gaining almost 10 yards per carry through the first 7 drives. And the Bills, we knew what their kryptonite was going into this game all season. They cannot stop the run. So that's something I would imagine is going to keep Liam Cohen up at night. But yeah, sometimes I think the best player on the field wins a game. And, I think... And it's not just Josh Allen, but it's the ball's in his hands on that 4th and 1 in the red zone in the final minutes. And he puts his head down. And despite being all banged up, he not only gets the first down, he gets carried, pushes himself 10 yards on a QB sneak on 4th and inches, sets him up at the goal line. He scores.
Well, it's like the greatest tush push of all time.
Yeah.
Basically. Yeah.
Did you think that was Liam Cohen letting him score, though? I was wondering.
On the touchdown, absolutely. I think they were. But do you or are you referring to the tush push play?
Because the tush push was in a different time in the game.
Because Liam Cohen,
it was the play before.
It was the play before. Yeah. Liam Cohen said something about like we put them on the highway or we put them on the fast track towards the goal line. And when I saw the tush push, initially I was like, wow, that was just phenomenal. But then you almost see either the Jaguars players thought the play was over or there was a lot of guys just like standing up and like just backed out of the scrum. And so I was wondering if at that point they were like, all right, screw it, just get him across.
I don't know if you can do it in that level of like split second from going to try to win the game to what ends up happening. Because what's at that moment, where are we at? It's 24-20 Jacksonville, right? And 70 seconds to play. They get the stop. It would shock me if like the game plan on the Jacksonville sideline is let's stop them on 4th and inches, but if they get the yard, let them in the end zone because there's a 10-yard gap, and you stop those 10 yards, you're going to the next round. They could not finish the game. Jacksonville. It has to be deeply frustrating, and yet that's how it plays out. Here's Trevor Lawrence talking about Liam Cohen and their first year together, which was still a fantastic success, even if it was frustrating.
We're all in this together, and just the camaraderie between the players, but also between players and staff. It was a really cool team, special year, and it sucks because you're never going to have the exact same group again. So I think that's the worst part is it's over, and there's going to be a lot of things that stay the same, but it's never the exact same group. So I wish we could have made a couple more plays to keep this thing going. to be playing next week, but that's not the reality. So, yeah, I mean, it was tough, and, he had a good message for us, and we appreciate him. He's a hell of a coach.
I'll be a little bit of a dick here.
Oh, who had the lock on this one?
Oh, no.
Well, I think I haven't gone back and counted, but if I'm guessing, I think I've missed 5 straight.
Bye-bye, Justin. Your season's over.
Yeah. I feel like I got bounced out of the wild card this weekend.
Yeah, crusher. Connor, you were saying you were about to be a little bit of a dick. We want to welcome that. Go ahead.
Okay. I just when a team gets real full of itself and they start saying like, "Don't jump on the bandwagon. We don't want any more fans." I take that personally for a weird reason. And
Wait,
was I
you
the
do?
only? Yeah. And was I the only one that was like, "Good"? You got a little bit of in your comeuppance there. You got a little too hot there for a second. Fan base. I warned you about it. You got a little too hot. And now you get what you.
Well, that's why the pool's there. Hop
Yeah.
in and. There's like about 3 too many close-ups of sweaty people that I don't know how clean their bodies are, and then they hop into that pool, and we're all
Well, they're
strangers
not clean
sharing
at all.
sharing a pool together.
Yeah.
Like I have a
They've
bit of
been,
an issue
like,
with
pouring-
public pools in the first place. That pool in particular really freaks me out.
I mean, they've been pouring beer on like toddlers and babies and wives and husbands since like 8 a.m. that morning in the parking lot.
And
Like, I don't
there's
think
got to
that's-
be some type of rules, like once you get out of the pool, like you don't get back in. So people are probably relieving themselves in that pool. I mean, listen.
Yeah.
I don't know. I totally disagree with everything you just said, Connor, but that's okay. I think they had tapped into something that was really, I think, working in that locker room,
but
is
excluding me, and so I just
Yes,
felt like
I get it.
you a little bit.
I get it,
That's
but maybe
all. Yeah.
like part of I feel like there's some Connor in there too. You're a guy that likes to have a little chip on your shoulder and
Yeah.
and take a slight and then use it as motivation. That's what they were
so
doing.
bring me in is what I'm saying.
Okay.
Like, make me part of it. Don't be a
let's
dick
get Liam.
and
Did
push me
they
out.
they
Yeah.
reject you specifically? I
Yeah,
don't
is there
recall
more to
that
the
way.
story? Are we not?
Yeah, I just felt that way a little bit. That's all.
Can I just say before we take a break here, I don't root for anybody's like losing their job or getting demoted, but I think this might have been the game that got Tony Romo got. What a reverse masterclass by Tony Romo in this game. I want to read a quote. This is how he opens the telecast before kickoff. To Jim Nantz, who's got this look in his eyes like a guy that just came back from Vietnam and saw too much. I don't think we've ever seen it where it's like, who's going to win? I don't know. I'm pretty good at football knowledge, and I don't know. Today's going to be very telling, though, because Jacksonville is a complete football team. Carolina did that yesterday. They earned the respect, almost won, but they didn't. Jacksonville's in that same situation. What? They could do it. This could be a major upset. Editorial note, the Jaguars are favored going into this game. Even though it's not really an upset, because the Bills are actually the underdog, but they're the overdog, we'll see today. What?
Yeah, it's
Tony.
I also can take edibles.
And like let's be fair, Mark. Like it's not that I don't want to pile on Tony Romo. He seems like a nice guy, but you watch this game and then you watch Justin. You and I were talking about. We thought that Al had a really good game on Saturday night, and then you watch. Sorry, earmuffs, Connor. I thought Tom Brady had a really strong game.
I'm very pro Brady in the booth right
Okay,
now.
good.
I
He's
agree.
gotten
Yeah.
a lot
Yeah.
better, and he had a good game. And it's like it is an untenable situation for CBS. And I just thought it was kind of funny as like a little.
It's almost like his ability and acumen as a color man. His career is going in reverse because we should be where he was when he started right now, and instead he feels to me a little drifting. At one point there was a play where he said there was some confusion. He said the ref just said it was no play. No, they didn't. And then they went to a confusing commercial break. And it's like there's just a lack of, I guess, driven detail. And the playful enthusiasm that we love from Romo has turned into something that's a little more hazy verbally. And I don't want to pile him on because like I went on X at one point or Twitter. It's like it was literally 18 tweets in a row of people destroying Romo. It's like okay, at some point it's like, we get it. He's not doing well, but I also think he's not doing well.
But it's also like that website, Awful Announcing, had 2 long articles up about his performance within 90 minutes after the game. It was
that's
what
the bread
everyone
and
was.
butter, but they weren't wrong.
I'm saying, but everybody, it was something. It's like when that's part of the gig. That's why he's getting paid like more than almost any other player. Is you have to seem prepared and coherent in a game like that. And I just thought it was stunning. And
you were on this first, in my opinion, although I don't follow what anyone else is saying.
The second Awful Announcing article was like, oh, maybe this is going to be the move that prompts J.J. Watt moving to the number 1 team. I think that's exactly what happens. Matt Ryan just got the job running the Falcons operation. You might as well just throw Romo in the studio and let him mail it in from there. And
I would just say, like, Connor, like, if you follow like what's going on with like CBS News, like CBS doesn't like to admit mistakes or admit that they're potentially off course on things,
or like the general truth of what's happening in society.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
There's a bunch of issues there.
Romo's greatest hit from this game, though, was that he felt like either one of these teams had a shot to make it to the Super Bowl. And it's like, theoretically in the playoffs, both teams do have a shot. That's why we're here.
It was just filled with stuff like that. I mean, at one point, Josh Allen takes one of the more vicious hits I've seen a quarterback take all season, where a man that's like 275 pounds and 6'3" lands on him with full body weight on his face mask while his helmet's pinned to the turf. And he goes right to the blue tent to be evaluated for concussion. Romo and Nance, for that matter, don't even see it. Don't even remark upon it. And I'm like, in real time, I'm like, shit, that giant man just fell on his skull. That feels like anyway, tough one. Tough telecast. But all right, let's take a break, and we will continue on in this fantastic wildcard weekend. Sessy, so everyone's deploying AI agents now, right? They're automating tasks, handling workflows, making decisions.
Yes, but here's the thing. Sometimes they mess up, right? Delete the wrong files, make changes you didn't authorize, or just go off script. And when that happens, you're stuck figuring out what went wrong and how to fix it. Unless
you're using Rubrik Agent Cloud. AI is here, but can you control the risk? AI agents move fast, and they can now create 10 times the damage in 1/10 of the time. Rubrik Agent Cloud is the only platform that lets you monitor, govern, and rewind AI agent actions. You can get full visibility, enforce policies, quantify risk, and undo destructive actions. It runs in the background, sets guardrails, and if something breaks, you just roll it back, like undo, but for AI.
Absolutely. Honestly, using Rubrik Agent Cloud would make me way less nervous about letting AI agents actually do things. If your business relies on AI agents, you need the ability to monitor, govern, and rewind their actions.
Right now, Heed the Call listeners get exclusive early access to Rubrik Agent Cloud. Head to Rubrik.com. That's RUBRIK.com. Rubrik.com. All right. We are back. Wild card weekend. Ding dong, the witch is dead, the witch is dead, the witch is dead. Ding dong, the witch is dead. Go home, Big Dom. Hit it, Justin. Go home.
Sky Moore in motion. It's a trick play. They give it to Moore. Now flip to Juwan Jennings. End around. Jennings throws it to McCaffrey. And he's got it. McCaffrey caught it for the touchdown. Touchdown. 49ers.
Oh, it's so delicious. And that's why it's getting the Ninja Gaiden treatment. The precious Eagles with their trick plays. How about you go home on the back of a trick play? Juwan Jennings gets the ball from Brock Purdy, flips it, a perfect pass in stride to Christian McCaffrey, who makes the over-the-shoulder catch, tumbles into the end zone. One more stop by the San Francisco defense. Later, way to go, Robert Saleh. And at the 49ers upset the defending champion Eagles. Defending champions no more! Turn this on my headphones. Come on, Ceci.
I mean, I support you in your hobbies.
There you go.
I mean, you should have seen some of the text messages we were getting during this afternoon in America.
Die, Eagles, die. Sing your little song. You got time.
There was a guys for like a year plus where it's like, I'm not against the Eagles. I'm not. It's like, well, I think we understand what
that metastasized over
Yeah.
the past year. So, we'll get to the Eagles, and because I thought, in all seriousness, what a kind of a fitting game for this title defense to end on, with the way they played, the squabbles on the sideline, and the offense not being able to step up when necessary. But let's focus on the Niners because, Sessy, I said this to you, and we were both in agreement on it, because everyone, and this is why this is, if anyone thinks it's easy to be picking these games right now, you're lying, and you're not showing any receipts, because every bit of analytical background heading into this game favored the Philadelphia Eagles. When you looked at the injury report for San Francisco, the nature of their previous game, the fact that they were on a short week, Vic Fangio's incredible success against Kyle Shanahan, the Eagles being in their home building, like everything set up a certain way. But what we talked about, Mark, on Thursday was maybe everyone's gone too far the other way and forgotten how good and resilient these 49ers have been all season, and they showed it again.
Yeah, I think the Seattle game definitely colored what the future of this Niners team looked like. Like, wait a minute, they can be gashed on the ground. They're vulnerable. They're missing their entire linebacker unit. They're down to their 5th and 6th linebackers. I think what you have to factor in always with Shanahan, and especially with Robert Saleh at his side, is like, one of these teams is going to constantly be adjusting. And that's one thing about the Eagles. It's like they had, I think, 5 punts and 6 drives and just went to sleep after opening with 2 touchdowns out of the first 3 drives. Like, they had a great start. It looked like Saquon was going. A.J. Brown made a big catch. Like, they were playing well. And it's like, maybe we're going to get this version of the Eagles against a Niners defense that's very compromised. Then you get guys like Eric Kendricks making plays all over the place, and a bunch of people that you've never heard of on the Niners team under Robert Saleh playing the most inspired defensive performance that you could have expected from this team. I think they bite, they punch, they whip you, and like they find a way to do it. And the Eagles succumbed entirely, and they had no answer for it. They were put into a nap, a sleep, and we've seen it. They only play about 30 minutes of football a week. And you can't do that now. And they did it today. They went completely asleep when it mattered most. And instead, you've got Kyle Juszczyk and Demarcus Robinson and just fill in the blank operating for a Niners team that's like, I don't care who's on the field. We're going to find a way to be the best Niners team we can. And they were. And it was kind of awesome to watch, because it's like, if Shanahan's stars dimmed a little, it's like, not today.
Yeah, I mean, Connor, let's just to reset the table here. No Fred Warner. No Nick Bosa, no Mikael Williams, no Ricky Pearsall, no Brandon Ayuk. They're on their 5th and 6th string linebackers. And in the first half of this game, George Kittle blows his Achilles. And God bless George Kittle, one of the great dudes in the league and one of the best tight ends of his generation. Once he got once he was told that he had a torn Achilles, the one thing he asked for was a bottle of tequila in the locker room, and best wishes to him as he begins his rehab journey. You take Kittle off the field against this Eagles defense, and somehow they found a way, Connor.
And one of the things that I thought that I kind of noticed that I didn't really hear anybody bring up in this game is, if you talk to Shanahan people and you say, what's kind of the central criticism of Kyle? It's that he doesn't have that killer instinct or that gotta have it play call, that when his system fails, it digs them out of a rut. And that throwback, or whatever you want to call what Jennings did to Christian McCaffrey, was such a breakthrough moment for him, I think, creatively, where they were able to kind of lull Philadelphia to sleep. And I've never seen a Vic Fangio defense kind of get in a position like that, where they were so vulnerable. And, it's like, these guys are running the same things on every play, and they're running the same direction. They're doing the same motions, but then to untie it all and create this trick play moment where you put the Eagles on their heels. And once they're down points, like, Philadelphia's offense is just pathetic. And what a move. Like, that was a dagger from Shanahan that he didn't have in his bag before that.
And that's what we've heard. Like, they even talked about it, like, Fangio hadn't faced Shanahan since 2018. He's such a better coach. He's learned so much more. Mm-hmm. Here is Shanahan on that play call that kept the season alive for the 49ers.
It's called Sky Bang Reverse Pass. Last time we called it was called Debo Bang Reverse Pass. We ran it in New Orleans when Emmanuel threw to Raheem, kind of the same area of the field. We were trying to set it up a little bit. We got a jet sweep to Sky earlier in the game, and we had to be on the right hash for the play because Juwan's not left-handed. So we were just hoping to get it around there. Clay suggested it. It was a hell of a suggestion, and Juwan threw a perfect ball, which made me a little scared. I thought he should just thrown a bad ball and put it on him. So I thought it was a hell of a catch by Christian, and I didn't see it, but knowing that he got roughed up and stuff just shows what a G Juwan is, high school quarterback.
Sky bang reverse pass. That's like something that goes down in the Sessler basement on the weekends. Like, and yet it becomes, listen, it's not as iconic as the Philly special, but it is the play that ends the Eagles' title defense, and it opens up a whole lot of questions. And Mark, I really think right before that play, yeah, maybe not today, buddy boy. Maybe not today.
Wins.
You can shut up. You can go home. Go home. You're done. You've been exposed. Oh, so delicious. But before that play call, before they run this trick play, I thought to myself, I don't know if the Niners have what it takes to get into the end zone here. I thought the Eagles, who I thought played overall strong defensively, I thought they were going to stop them, and then we see what happens on the last possession. To dial that up, Mark, showed an intuitiveness of the head coach and play caller, and it really took Philadelphia by surprise.
Absolutely, and I think it speaks to what you said, Connor, that like this was Shanahan's time to go. I don't know if it's against the grain, but kind of against the idea of what maybe Shanahan refuses to do in terms of some other coaches, because he has been doing this for so long. But at that point in the game, it was Kyle Juszczyk who caught like a 27-yard pass from Purdy, and that kind of laid the bedrock for this play to happen. But it came at the perfect moment. And I think like the Eagles just seemed like a team ready to break. Like Connor, you were there. I would ask, like, what happened to the crowd after that trick play?
Oh yeah, we should make it very clear that Connor covered the game for Sports Illustrated today.
Yeah, it was a great atmosphere. I highly regret wearing this jacket. As soon as my buddy, we had breakfast together at the Oregon Diner right down the street, and then he dropped me off, and then I got made fun of by like 8 people immediately after I got out of his car. I guess because it's red and it's a little bit loud. It's a little bit of a fashion leap, I guess, for me. And
I think it's a beautiful jacket.
I thoroughly
Check it out on
regretted
YouTube.
it. Yeah, and then combine the fact that I had to carry this ring light into the hotel and everyone was looking at me like I was an OnlyFans girl. This was a tough morning. But once we got in there and once this game started unfolding, I'll tell you this, the air just got sucked out of there. I wrote that it was like the Arctic pre-dawn at some point in the fourth quarter. At that last play that Jalen Hurts, that fourth down, it was silent. You could hear the wind blowing in the stadium. And like this place is supposed to be notoriously rocking. But I looked this up and I thought this was interesting, right? The Eagles are 27th in the NFL in second half points, 9.9 or 9.1 points that they average in the second half. There are 3 head coaches and 2 offensive coordinators who ranked above them that got fired in this cycle. Okay. And the fact that like, I think it was 5 or 6 different games this season. I went back and I looked at this too, where they were leading at halftime and they just started running the ball and plotting and trying to just hold on to that lead with their bare paws and not allow Jalen Hurts to do anything and make mistakes. And it almost always comes up as a failure for them. And they cost themselves this game. Like they didn't take any chances. They had one inventive drive offensively where they were doing interesting stuff, and then it just completely vanished. And I can't explain it. It's one of the more confounding things that I've seen in the NFL this year.
I thought the same thing. Kevin Patullo, he's the offensive coordinator, the play caller. And I think he's going to be one of the changes you're going to see with the Eagles. We'll see how many changes. You can't
change out the quarterback, and I think that's a huge part of it too. I think it's a huge part of it.
Unlikely to change out the head coach right now, but I think right now Patullo is the guy that's obviously on the chopping block. I thought it was a very overly conservative game plan. How many times did they run the ball on first down and then on second and long, run the ball and then put the offense in a position for third and longs? And you heard the crowd groaning with the play calls. And then even the final play when they're fourth down, season on the line, what looked like a pretty, and I heard this discussed on the post game show over on Fox, like what seemed like a very generic, like 4 vertical situation. There was nothing innovative to the design of the play. And that to me, like in a nutshell, is this Eagles team. They were I know they got their wins and they got their home game in the playoffs, but they never felt like entirely like a serious team from week 1 onward. And what you saw with A.J. Brown and Nick Sirianni and another, why this was such like a fitting end to their season. This bozo Sirianni, like running down the sideline to seek out A.J. Brown and get in his face because he didn't think he got off the field fast enough, knowing that A.J. Brown's an emotional guy that isn't getting a lot of touches and it's been an issue. Clearly, there's some heat there. That's another thing we were on top of, by the way, when we played Sirianni being an asshole coming down the tunnel after the Bills game, and you saw the way A.J. Brown looked at him. Like there was heat between these two guys, and it boiled over on the sideline. Here's Sirianni after the game about that spat with the wide receiver.
Yeah, I was trying to get him off the field, because we were about to punt, and that was really it. So I love AJ. I think he knows how I feel about him. I have a special relationship with him. We've probably went through every emotion you can possibly have together. We've laughed together. We've cried together. We've yelled at each other. We're both emotional. I was trying to get him off the field, and you never want, that happens in this game. That happens in this game, but I love him.
Not to defend Nick here, but I do think that AJ's wearing out his welcome here too. And I mean, he dropped some major passes in this game in big moments, and then to just kind of skate out of there and not take any responsibility for it and not talk to reporters after the game. It's like, okay, I think
probably for the best for the Eagles, because what he would have said would have just been more of a firestorm. Yeah, and I don't know. I just think there were too many moments throughout this season. Like I said, I think Sirianni's safe. But Jeffrey Lurie, I don't imagine he came out of the season feeling more confident about the operation. But maybe there'll be some reporting around this team. This feels like a team that also it could leak a little bit. Could leak a little bit of oil after the season. Now that the season's over, I'll be checking that. I think
Patullo has proven that he needs to go. But is that 4 or 5 straight coordinator changes for this team? Right. And it feels like every other one has been a disaster. And I think that could have been managed differently earlier in the year when this thing was falling apart, because this is an offense that just would lose its way in games for long stretches of time, multiple drives. And Kevin Patullo didn't seem to have the answers, and nor did Sirianni if you're not going to go in and make more of an executive change. That would be my bigger issue with him than like his spats on the sidelines and his broness, to be honest.
This team just needs to go away, and they are going away now. I think everyone, I know not everyone's on the same page with me on this show, but a lot of people agree that this Eagles team had wore out its welcome a little bit. And then right down to when I was reading on The Athletic, which is the New York Times sports section, essentially, they refer to Dom DeSandro as Big Dom on first reference, like he's Bad Bunny or something. Like, this whole thing needs to go away. Exit stage right, and we will continue these playoffs without you. Bye-bye. They go.
You did at one point say that we were heading towards the greatest day of your adulthood.
I mean, that says a lot about a Jets fan, We almost, if we got out of this, what Mark's referring to, if we got out of this with the Eagles and Pats out on the same Sunday, we don't get everything we want. But anyway, let's move on. Sunday Night Football. Let's jump to the last game of the weekend. And it is the one game that wasn't going down to the final minutes. The New England Patriots. You can't talk about their schedule anymore. They are playing teams that deserve to be in the postseason, that got here because of success during the regular season. That is the Chargers. But the Chargers, once we saw these two teams playing against each other, clearly were not a good matchup for the Patriots, and especially this Patriots defense, which was all over Justin Herbert, overwhelming that wretched Los Angeles offensive line. It did end up killing the Bolts in the end. Final score 16-3. The Patriots move on. Like we said, they get the winner of Texans, Steelers, on Monday night. A very nice. There's the first. It's crazy. Time flies, but Conor, is the first Patriots playoff win in 7 years, and it felt in some ways like the old days in Foxborough, where at a certain point the outcome felt inevitable.
I suppose. I mean, I've kind of got the red ass about this game for a lot of different reasons, but it felt like the Chargers just had nothing, and they were completely formless and lifeless. And I think if Drake May makes those kind of mistakes, and he had some missed throws, there were some fumbles that he was lucky to recover. I think you make those mistakes in Denver, you make those mistakes against Buffalo, and you're probably going to lose that game by 10 points. But I think it was just how pathetic the Chargers were in this one. That
it's 9-3 after the third quarter, Mark. And yet this is one of those games where they're within a touchdown of taking the lead and an extra point. And the Chargers offense, I mean, listen, we went through a whole year and we had fun with it, right? With Jim Harbaugh telling us that Justin Herbert, it felt like a bit after a while, is the greatest quarterback of all time. I don't put the loss on Herbert entirely. Because the offensive line was terrible.
Yeah.
The wide receivers, it didn't even feel like wide receivers dressed for the Chargers in this game. They got zero separation. And you give credit to New England's defense, obviously. But Herbert deserves blame as well, because I don't think he played a great game. And now you look at what is Justin Herbert. Again, when your coach is calling you the greatest quarterback of all time, his playoff resume stinks, quite frankly. And it makes Jim Harbaugh sound like a used car salesman, quite frankly, after you watch a game like this.
Well, he's not doing him any favors. Herbert, I just felt there was a moment in the game where Herbert's like, my only answer here is to take off and run and sacrifice my body 8, 9, 10 yards downfield and get gang tackled near the boundary line. Like, that was really all they had going on. They ran the ball a little bit at some point, but for all the plays they made, it just seemed to get, to Conor's point, worse and worse. It just got worse and worse as the game went on. And we all know that they're missing their 2 tackles, and they're, they have the most line combinations in the league. And all of that feels like something in reality, watching football, that's going to come home to roost. And it absolutely did tonight in a terrible environment. And I know it was even close at the end to some degree. It was like, get Justin Herbert out of here. He was brutalized.
Well, you can't get him out of this. The playoffs.
I mean, with like 2 minutes to go, it's like at one point, it's like, do we want him to go into the offseason with like 4 broken ribs and a separated shoulder? It was gory.
It was still 2 scores. Like, I understand why they had him into the end, but I understand your greater point, which was he took a vicious amount of abuse in this game.
I thought I was going to get a noise complaint phoned to my hotel room because, like, I think we need to call bullshit on Harbaugh a little bit here too. Because,
that's what I'm saying.
It's like, oh, we're going to attack every day with the enthusiasm unknown to mankind. You attacked that fourth quarter like a guy that was sleeping outside of a Popeyes. Like, this was pathetic. And I think what really pissed me off in this was that Christian Gonzalez is out of the game. Go throw at the guy, throw at the backup, like, move. And Collinsworth, I thought, did a great job of pointing it out too, but it's like, stop giving them a chance to get their subs in. Like, you're finally making some headway.
That happened twice too.
Yeah. And you maybe have some headway here to get 2 quick scores and to get back into this game. Like, move your ass. But there was no enthusiasm, and that drove me absolutely out of my mind. That was the one way you were going to be able to beat them, is if you kept them from refreshing their pass rushers and just getting into a quick game. But they just don't have it, and it's like, my God, it was infuriating. And yes, I locked the Chargers.
Oh, jeez. Oh, Conor.
That's the
root
of this.
A noise complaint.
Yeah.
Yep, you do seem a little more cantankerous than normal. The losses are piling up. Not just for you, though. I mean, me and Mark really need to take care of our business on Monday night in the lock competition. Put it that way.
Right. I think it's
Absolutely.
like the Eagles, you so many things start going wrong, and so you just start taking uncharacteristic chances, and you just feel like you're running out of straws at this point.
All right. So to your point, yes, the end of the game, and Collinsworth did do a nice job pointing out, like, where is the urgency? You guys, the season's on the line. In the first half, the game starts early on. They get an interception by Henley that sets them up inside the Patriots' 10-yard line. And I thought it was 1st and 10 at the New England 8. Okay, you have a chance to take the air out of the balloon in that stadium. You have a chance to go up, and the next 3 plays are as follows. Justin Herbert scrambles up the middle for 4 yards. Justin Herbert runs right end 3 yards. Justin Herbert runs left guard 1 yard. And then a no-shot attempt toward Keenan Allen covered by Christian Gonzalez. Like 47-year-old Keenan Allen against Christian Gonzalez. No chance in hell. They get the stop. And then, the next possession, it's their only sustained drive the entire game. And what happens? They get down in the red zone again. Here we are. We are at 1st and 10 at the New England 11. 3-yard run, 5-yard pass, 0-yard run, field goal from 21 out. And that was it. Like, they never had any other chances really in this game in the red zone. And for them to be it felt just like conservative and just be so low key as if thinking they were going to have so many chances, which is a very frustrating, odd game plan from the Chargers. And they just seem lethargic. So yes, like Harbaugh deserves as much blame as this offensive line, which, by the way, Mark, one of the crazy stats by NBC in this game, they put up, and mileage varies with this because Collinsworth is the main shareholder of Pro Football Focus, right? So they put up PFF stats when they do starting lineups. 3 of the offensive linemen, including my old friend Mekhi Becton, are either last or second to last in the entire NFL in their position: the right tackle, the left tackle, and the guard. And you saw that as it became a turnstile. I
mean, I think I'm with you on the Jim Harbaugh experience and kind of like the way you describe like coaching and then what the reality is, but they were the most compromised offense coming into the playoffs. I mean, by far, and to the point where it's like, you just mentioned that drive, 3 straight Herbert runs, and then that Keenan Allen drop, he was wide open. Like, it just wasn't their night, and it was the wrong place and the wrong time.
Yeah, but look at the Niners, Mark, right? Like I don't think they're the same situation. You have to seize the day. You have to heed the call. And I thought, like, the Chargers felt like a team. If you're going to go to New England and stage an upset, you better have fire in your belly. And for a Harbaugh team to come out that flat, it was striking.
I was still thinking, I think Jesse Minter's defense did come out playing very well, and they caused problems early. The offense just can't match him.
And that's exactly what I was going to say. Wait until he loses Jesse Minter this offseason, and let's see what this whole Chargers organization becomes at this point. I mean, I'm questioning it.
Which takes us back to the Patriots and just a great performance by their defense. And when Milton Williams, who came back from an injury and was dominant in this game, he celebrates with Vrabel, and he gives him a big bear hug and busts Vrabel's lip open after the game. Vrabel talked about that over-exuberance.
Well, we talked to him about being willing to spill some blood out there, and that the big dogs come out in January. And I think Milt took that to heart. And the way that he played the game and the way he finished the game, and he came over and, got me pretty good, but, that's what happens.
I mean, to me, it's just like we wondered a year ago, will this Vrabel thing work? And it's worked. It's worked. And this team had to grow up quick. And even in this game, I thought it started really problematic for Drake May. And your coach is getting bloodied. I get that. But Drake May, worked his way out of a really rough start. And I thought he made the difference with his legs and threw that killer touchdown pass at the end. They just needed to find a way to seal it. And, it was imperfect, but it didn't matter. Like, when you're playing a broken offense, your quarterback can work his way out of a corner.
How about this for a headline over on ESPN? The Patriots still haven't beaten anybody good. I mean... Well, not totally unfair, but also, again, the Patriots ended up getting a very good draw here, but they took care of their business.
There's a chance they play the Steelers next week, and people will publish the same article. So
I'll have my double lock. I'll be going back to the future on that one if that's what we ended up getting. So there you go. The Patriots moving on to divisional round football. All right. Now we move on to a break. And when we get back, we finish out this coverage of Wild Card Weekend. Stay right there. Life can feel like one big puzzle. You're constantly trying to fit all the pieces together: your career, your passions, your relationships, your finances, and of course, your health care.
Yeah, it's a lot. But finding care shouldn't be the trickiest piece. That's where ZocDoc comes in. ZocDoc is a free app and website that helps you find and book high-quality in-network doctors so you can find someone you love.
We're talking about more than 150,000 providers across all 50 states. Whether you're looking for dermatology, dentistry, primary care, eye care, or any of the 200-plus specialties on ZocDoc, you could search by specialty or symptom and build the care team that's right for you.
Want to see your doctor in person? Great. Prefer a video visit? You can do that too. You can even read thousands of verified patient reviews, see real-time availability, and book instantly. No phone tag. Appointments often happen within 24 to 72 hours, sometimes even same day.
Mark and I use this, and you should too. Stop putting off those doctor appointments and go to ZocDoc.com/heed to find and instantly book a doctor you love today. That's ZocDoc.com/heed. ZocDoc.com/HEED. Thanks, ZocDoc, for sponsoring this message.
One of our patients died because of this hack.
We have to bring in the FBI.
Oh.
She's sick and she's hiding.
She's putting patients at risk.
Oh, jeez.
You cheated on me.
My job. I want it back.
Wolf! No.
Oh my God. What did you do? If I'm coming for you, you will see me coming.
Oh, baby. Doc's back. Doc is back. And is it fair to say, Mark, that as we get away from the sweeps period of the TV book and it got a little soapy, I think there was like terrorist attacks and somebody was thrown out of a 4th floor window and all sorts of crazy stuff was happening at the end before they went on their midseason hiatus. It felt like a little bit more of a grounded tone for Doc as we come back from break.
I suppose so. I don't think she operates in the Hippocratic Oath in its true nature, from what I'm hearing. But we're going to bring
That's what makes her special, says he.
We're going to bring the FBI in. I just want to find out. I hope the final reveal is she's like quietly worked with like Bin Laden to organize 9/11 as a youth or something. Like, where is this going?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, are they going to be able to rein in the tendencies that they showed at the beginning of season 2, which was to get pulpy and really soap operatic, Connor? Because I like a grounded Doc. I like feeling like this is a real world. And yes, I'm not sure what the nature of the FBI investigation is. I have no idea. It could be like cloned humans somewhere in like the storage facility within the hospital for all we know. But we could only wonder, or maybe watch the show. Probably not, though.
My take on this is partially based in hoping that Justin plays the thing where she smashes her head against the window again because it's silly and I'm in a silly mood and I love seeing that. Yeah,
give him what he wants.
Yeah,
bang in the head, right in the head, bang. Boom! Hey-oh! You banged! Memories. Goodbye.
It's the right note every time. But I'm just still amazed that I'm going to have to go back and actually watch this. I made it about 3 episodes, and the whole thing was
we need you, buddy.
You're going to start from scratch.
I know.
You and the wife.
This whole thing was like, this woman cannot practice medicine because she sustained a massive head injury and lost like 8 years worth of memory.
Right.
And apparently we've blown right past that central plot
we
point.
moved. There are no reverse gears in that tank. And whatever you do, Connor, if you do manage to get your wife to get back on the couch with you to watch Doc, don't let her know it's an assignment in any way attached to our show, because we know we're kind of already on double secret probation within the Orr house.
No, the video that you sent me, I've showed it to my wife many times, is legend in our house of like, it was like the first time that you ever saw her head smashing into the window, and then you made some commentary on that, and that is on regular rotation.
How about that, Sessler?
She loves it.
Any videos that you're getting that are getting beamed via to Orr Nation?
That I'm
Probably
sending
not.
to the Orr family,
He
to the
probably
household.
got nothing.
I can
She
correct
doesn't
that
know
very
you.
quickly.
Yikes! Sounds like a threat.
No, I think I tend to think they're busy enough. But if you want me to start sending He's the one with the O light.
I know you don't like that. You don't like that the video was showing. It was like, oh, Dan's so funny. Oh, my God. You guys got something going on over there with that show.
I doubt she knows your name.
Whoa, what an irreverent tone.
I heavily doubt she knows your name.
All right, let's head to Soldier Field where there was more magic.
Snap back, 4-man rush. Caleb with a double move, throw down the left sideline. DJ Moore inside the 5, end zone, touchdown! Touchdown Bears! They've taken the lead on the Packers with 1:43 to go. 25 yards, the same connection. Week 16, a walk-off win. This connection, a 3-point lead. Wow! Wow! Say it again. Wow!
Oh, welcome back, Jeff Joniak. To our world. We missed you. And you cannot miss the end of Chicago Bears games. Because once again, it was proven that these Chicago Bears can never be counted out. Down 21-3 at halftime. Down 21-6 after the third quarter. They put 25 points on the Packers in the fourth period for their first playoff win in 15 years, 31-27. The Bears, man. The Bears, Connor, move on. And the Packers end the season on a 5-game losing streak. And the latest reporting out there was that Matt LaFleur is meeting with front office members of the Packers about his future.
That's a good sign.
You want to talk about whiplash and how fortunes can change so quickly. The Bears did it again, and they did it against their biggest rival. What a victory.
And the look, I felt like Matt LaFleur looked like he aged 35 years, like in the last 6 weeks, where
no longer the bearded boy.
No, and to lose to Ben during the regular season, you split 1-1. And then to lose in the playoffs and you get the terse handshake where Ben doesn't even give you the time of day. And think about this, guys, for a second. We graduated from the Belichick era where we weren't even allowed to look at this guy in a certain way. And now we get all access video of Ben screaming, "F the Packers" in the locker room. And the team is just tweeting it out. Like, this is the greatest gift that we've gotten as football people, this rivalry, these people. And I hope that LaFleur stays, if only because I want to see these guys play twice a year in perpetuity.
And it was the perfect rubber match because they gave us 2 great games.
Yes.
And I kind of felt like each of them told us who these teams are this season. It was like Green Bay's hot early, and then Chicago comes storming back after looking lost in the first half. And that was last night. It's like Caleb Williams, if he's not injured, it looked pretty injured at one point, his ankle or something, like, is not playing well in the first half. But that doesn't matter because the Chicago Bears have done this 6 or 7 times this season and come back from insurmountable, seemingly odds to win the game. And like, there was this one pass, and this happened this week with a couple quarterbacks. It was that 4th and 8 where Caleb Williams is flushed out of the pocket and off platform throws like a 27-yard dart to Rome Odunze to keep the game going. And it's like both of their last 2 contests ended with Williams hitting DJ Moore to off the Packers. And this team they do genuinely hate the Packers. And the way that it happened, I happened to be out and about in a place with a lot of Packers fans, and that place went dead silent because I think for them it felt like a change of things to come potentially too, but also because the Bears are totally changed.
Look at this track record for LaFleur now over the last 5 games, okay? You're beating the Broncos by 9 points in the third quarter. You lost by 8. You're beating the Bears by 10 points, and then you lost that game in overtime. You were within 3 of the Ravens in that critical game, and then you lost by almost 20 points. And then this happens. And after the game, LaFleur said that his team was, quote, disheveled and, quote, lost composure. Those are things that as a coach, I don't think I would ever admit to publicly, but if you honestly believe that, is such a damning indictment of you. And that, like, I've never seen a star turn like this in the NFL. It's incredible.
I think there was probably a little bit of shock, probably with LaFleur trying to process that they had let that game get away. And Ben Johnson said it in his introductory news conference. He made it no secret that he looked forward to beating Matt LaFleur in the playoffs, beating him multiple times a year. And to do it in that way, I mean, the Bears are a crazy team, and that's because they take after their head coach. Ben Johnson is a fucking maniac.
Yes.
Like this, and I mean that in the best way. We need more people like this. Like, we need these rivalries. Like, I'm so sick of the buttoned up corporate nature of pro sports in general, where these teams are, and I'm not going to be like that guy that's like on the porch saying, and why are they shaking hands after the game? They're going to trade jerseys. Like, they're all professionals striving to do the same thing together. They're in a club that none of us are in. But sometimes it's good to know that the Bears and Packers don't like each other. And this guy Johnson is such a hothead that he's unable to do what so many other coaches do, which is kind of keep it underneath. And the type of stuff that, Mark, we would see occasionally at like the combine if some coaches were overserved and then they'd start talking shit. But now you have a guy like Ben Johnson who doesn't care. And then the Bears, like we said, they are sending out the social media of the locker room. Check it out on YouTube. The way he goes up to Matt LaFleur at the lowest moment of LaFleur's career with his hand out, like with his mouth open, is outrageous. And here's Ben Johnson after the game in the Bears locker room. This is what Connor was alluding to earlier.
You go into the tournament coming off of 2 losses, man. You go into the tournament off of 2 losses. You look up at halftime in this game, and it's 21-3. No panic. No panic. None of it built for pressure. That's you guys.
Isn't that so crazy? And like the other thing about the Packers, I was after this game, my wife and I, we went on a nice little double date with another couple in town. We went and we caught the 9:30 Marty Supreme. Okay. By the way, can we just, hey, Hollywood, it was a nice picture. Can we just rein in these movies? Can we get them in around 2 hours? There's no reason for that movie to be almost 3 hours long. Side point. This is one of those theaters that have like the big reclining seats and like your own little table. And then in the lobby, there's a bar. And at the bar, like the bartender poured us our beers. And then he was like dejected. He said, yeah, I'm a Packers fan. And I said, oh man, I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah. He's like, I'm pretty bummed right now. He's like, and then I did what I do typically in these situations. I default to, well, it could be worse. You could be what I am, which is a Jets fan. And he pauses and he looks at me and he goes, I don't know. And he's in that place where you are a fan of a successful team, but you routinely just get your heart ripped out every year, and you're no closer to actually winning a Lombardi trophy. And me, like people like me and Mark, would probably trade off in a second to be in that position. But I do not underestimate how shitty that feels. And I know how that feels as a Yankee fan, because that's what the Yankees have become, where we get to the playoffs every year, we get our heart ripped out. And then the line where they connect the Packers and Yankees, I was thinking about this. You love dunking on the Yankees when you win, right? You play New York in the locker room. You like to say, the Yankees lose, stuff like that. It's part of the thing. Now with the Packers, there's been this thing where like everybody wears the cheese graters on their head and the crowd's using shredding cheese and everybody's talking shit on the Packers, and people like to dunk on the Packers. And I can only imagine, like I can empathize with it from another sport, how much more frustrating it must be to see Caleb Williams doing that shit after a game like that.
And to take your analogy one step further, because I thought about this, it's like when the Red Sox came behind from that 3-0 game, and because the word that I kept hearing around Green Bay and the fans was, oh, well, how classless is this? How classless is this? And when you're a team like that, the only thing that you can do now is reach for the moral high ground, right? And like talk about class and dignity. And it's like, fuck that, man.
They don't do it the right way.
Well, this is a disgusting game played by just gross, giant, crazy people. And like, yeah, other people. Like, we can say that. That's a cool thing to do. Like, they
didn't have a problem with Aaron Rodgers telling the Chicago Bears and their fans, I own you. There was no moral high ground then. I think one thing, if you're a Packers fan, and maybe the guy that you met at the movie theater, it all sounds like he had to work during the game, which is a
yeah, he was the bartender.
That's annoying. But like, kind of everything fell apart. Like I'm not giving them an out on any level, but it's like you thought all along in this key moment you'd have Micah Parsons, and maybe he would have done something down the stretch to change that, but you didn't. And a lot of teams don't have a lot of guys, so I'm not picking on that. You don't think that your kicker is going to cost you 7 points and send you down the river. I mean, this game was just so close. Like little things like that sunk a team that probably also has not found a way to win though in 5 weeks and probably deserve to be where they are. Where the Bears, like that shot of Ben Johnson in the locker room, I am convinced it's 7 weeks in a row, or not the 2 losses, but every win that like it's the cameraman at the exact same angle looking up at Ben Johnson, pumping his fists like Paul Orndorff. Like it's the same thing over and over because that's who they are. And like, I'd rather see them go on because no matter what happens in the first 30 minutes, like who knows what's going to happen in the second 30 minutes.
And it shows there's more than one way to motivate a team. Like that's why I was talking about McDermott when we were talking the Bills, like how buttoned up and focused and quiet and like professional, quote unquote, that locker room seemed after today's win. And the way the Bears look, where it was an all out party, like there's more than one way to do this stuff. But you just gotta like, yeah, no Micah Parsons, but you're up 21-6 in the fourth quarter, man. You got to close that game. And that's the story. Like the Packers, like how many more times do we have to hear in August, this is the year for the Packers? I don't want to hear it anymore. It's every year. The Packers are the same freaking team and everybody else gets injuries too. Like there's no excuses in this league when you get to January. This is then the same thing. And Matt LaFleur's teams won 13 games his first 3 years in the league. They went to 2 NFC title games, and that was a brilliant start to his career. But this team has not taken the next step, and you just wonder if they do make a change. Maybe they do. Here is LaFleur, by the way, when he was asked, was it today, Justin, about his job future?
Yesterday,
sorry.
Yeah, with all due respect to your question, Pete, now's not the time for that. I mean, I'm just hurting for these guys. You know, I can only think about just what just happened, and there'll be time for that. Again, Pete, I'm not gonna get into that right now. Yeah, again, with all due respect, Pete, definitely now's not the time.
Man, it's got to be tough because yeah, Pete's going for it.
Pete feels like me in 7th grade trying to call a girl I like. Like, just it's not going to happen. Okay.
Can you imagine the level of frustration for LaFleur after losing the worst game of your career, to have the other coach just like power bombing you at midfield, and then everyone's asking you the same question over and over? Do you think you're about to get fired? Let's give the last word though to Caleb Williams, who we talked about it on Thursday. Something special about this kid. Don't give him a chance to beat you in the end because he always seems to do it. Here he is.
Yeah, it was it's the only option we had.
Justin, did you add this music?
Was to go out there and be legendary, to go out there and execute, to go out there and do our part on the offensive side, defensive side, and special teams. Have each other's back. Go win the effing game.
Hey man, he is. You mentioned that throw, yeah.
How does he escape the Gladstone treatment from all of you right now? Like, how did that?
Okay, I'm a sucker. Well, he's a quarterback, a little different than like a 12-year-old general manager. I don't know. Like,
it's on my radar a little bit.
You go into the warfare. That's some like Mel Gibson mid-90s like battle he just went into, and he came out the victor. I let him be melodramatic in the post game. That's just me.
Didn't complete a 4th and 8 with the season on the line, but
that throw, I think the best throw. Yeah, come on, Connor, give somebody some love. Like, that throw by Josh Allen was the best throw I thought of the weekend. This one was right there, though. Like that was season on the line, 4th and 8. You're down 5:37 to play in the fourth quarter. He hits that throw, which very few quarterbacks can, on the move like that, facing pressure, drive a throw and put it right on the money. He's not a perfect quarterback, but I think he could be a special one.
And one little X factor, Colston Loveland is becoming like an absolute force, and I think he will guide them through whatever it is to come.
Loveland gets the final word. Sorry, Caleb.
I think we should have mentioned him. He's dominant. You could take that little clip and stick it 4 minutes back and just throw it there.
Do we have any Loveland sound that we could put some strings underneath, Justin?
He doesn't speak. He just operates.
I could always add it in post, but no, I don't have anything ready.
He does. No sound clips.
All right. So, man, that's a crazy one. Who do the Bears get next week?
The Rams.
Oh, baby. Woo-hoo-hoo.
Yes, please.
Little bit of a spoiler if you've not watched the playoffs, considering what's coming up next, but
that'd be weird.
Yeah.
All right, let's head to Charlotte, where the Rams, man, it was a little, the work was a little more difficult than anticipated, but yes, they did move on.
From the 19, Stafford has it helmet high, settles his feet, shoots right side, leaping catch, touchdown LA! Wow! At the front, right pylon, Colby Parkinson gives the Rams the lead. With 38 seconds to go, an absolute dot from Stafford, 33-31, and the try coming.
JB Long, welcome back. Our boy, Rams Radio, Matthew Stafford. Is he going to win the MVP? Maybe. He got named first team All-Pro over Drake May. So it's certainly possible. That's ESPN LA 710, by the way. But all I can tell you is that Stafford, with the season on the line and the Rams facing an unthinkable loss against a losing Panthers team, he calmly led the Rams 71 yards in the final minutes, completing 6 of 7 passes. In fact, the only incompletion was a drop by Davante Adams. Capped it with that perfectly placed and perfectly called by JB Long touchdown pass to Colby Parkinson. Rams 34, Panthers 31. That's how you start the playoffs, and that set the tone for the whole weekend. The Rams find a way, and they avoid what would have been a crushing first-round exit, Connor.
Yeah, I mean, this was a cool experience. So I went back and I watched the game, but we had something like a family thing to take care of. And so I listened to the fourth quarter initially, actually on the radio in the TNC. And we were like driving through like a fog and rainstorm, and we kept like losing the signal. So it was like 6:30 a.m.
It is the 2013 TNC. Of course, the signal is going to be choppy, and maybe the windshield wipers work, maybe not.
Oh, yeah. There's some issues there, but like it was like 6:30 a.m. and then it was like 11:10 a.m. and then it was like 17:20 a.m. and like to be able to just track it like that, there was like a very retro feel to it, and the comeback in general was very cool. But then I went back and actually watched it, and this was what you want, because let's go back to the Eagles last year in the playoffs. They looked so pedestrian for 2 games, and then they walloped the Commanders, and then they end up beating the crap out of the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. I think this is that Rams game where they looked pedestrian. They were challenged in different ways. I think some of their base stuff was kind of shut down really well by Evero in the first half, especially. And you pivot from that. And I don't buy the fact that this team is sleepwalking or affected in any way, but sometimes you got to get those clunkers out of the way.
Yeah, I agree with you in the sense that it doesn't provide any concern for me about the Rams. If anything, there's a lot of positives for the Panthers here, but they had a mistake-ridden opening to this. Like Puka Nacua dropped 2 passes that he would never have dropped otherwise. They had a blocked punt in this game. They were 3 for 13 on third down. They were more penalized than they have been in almost any game this year, and it cost them in big spots. And like they also, and McVay talked to us, they went away from their 13 personnel, which had been dominant for a big chunk of the game, then came back to it. And if you're Matthew Stafford, it's like someone who's had their 3rd child versus like you've just brought a baby home from the hospital. He's like, I've done everything you could ever do before. Nothing phases me. And I think he told them, right? His teammates like steal their hearts, rip their souls out. Like, and it's like Matthew Stafford has this beautiful dark side.
Yes, here is Stafford or Davante Adams sharing what the potential league MVP said ahead of that final drive.
An opportunity like tonight, I walked behind Tay on the way out and was like, for that last drive, I forget what I said to him, but I was like, let's go snatch these guys. Let's go snatch this one back, man. Let's go.
Yeah, I think he said, let's go snatch these guys' hearts. And that was pretty cold. That was pretty cold. Just to hear that, and I actually like literally smiled in the moment because I thought that was like one of the most gangster things you could say in that moment, honestly. And to hear him say that and the look on his face and then throw the touchdown and then the look on his face after that was just like MVP stuff.
That was MVP stuff there. because, yeah, I am concerned about the Rams. Like, they were up 14-0 in this game. It felt like it was going to be a rocking chair game where they take care of business, and they just couldn't. They were making the mistakes. They were shooting themselves in the foot, and then they couldn't get. I kept on waiting for like the pass rush to get home, the defense to win this game. They couldn't do it, and then they had Stafford bail them out. That's how this game felt to me, and it worked against the 8-10 Panthers. With all due respect to the Panthers, because they deserve credit for really fighting this game, but they are what they are, and the record is what they are. But I don't think the Rams can float through the divisional round at this level. They need to get back to where they were at the end of November or at the beginning of December, rather than this version that's now been hanging around for close to a month.
Do you think they're that different? I mean,
I think when the Rams were snatching hearts, they were dominant in the run game. They were dominant in the passing game. They were dominant on defense. What made them like the number one team in our power rankings for a extended period was they felt like clearly the most complete team in football. And the only difference I've seen in these last few weeks is just they haven't been able to kind of put it all together for 4 quarters like they were doing, which doesn't mean they can't. And like what you're saying, Connor, like this could turn into what happened with the Eagles last year, and they just now it locks in, and sometimes you just have to survive a scare. But yeah, like I guess my guard's going to be a little bit up in the divisional round because I thought this wasn't vintage to what we'd seen earlier in the season.
Yeah, and I think with the Rams, I mean, to your point, right, it's not a true comparison to the Eagles because the Eagles kept getting that chance to figure it out at home over and over again. They didn't have to go anywhere. As the Rams, you fly back across the country, then you go to Chicago. Now the net rest differential favors the Bears. It's not exactly a great weather game for the Rams either. So, yeah, I mean, I think that there are definitely some challenges here too.
Let's hear from the Panthers side after they came very close to what would have been one of the bigger upsets in a few years at least.
There's such a mix of emotions in the locker room right now of guys who are proud of what we've accomplished and proud of what we've gotten to and sick about the missed opportunity that was right in front of us. And that's going to sting. That's going to sting for a good while. But I ask the guys to keep their heads up and let this fuel you for what we're going into, and to understand how hard it is to work to get into this position where you get this kind of opportunity.
Yeah, we got it. The Panthers deserve a lot of credit because once they went down the 2 touchdowns, I was watching this game at a brewery with some like buddies in the town, Rams fans, and I said to them, they were kind of like getting loose and having fun, and I was like, "Hang on here. The one thing about these Panthers, they could look like the worst team in the league, but if you give them a little crack and they start to gain a little momentum, they could put a scare into you." And they came so close to doing that. There's so much credit that needs to be given, Mark, like to get off the mat. And even when Stafford went down the field and scored, put another touchdown on the board in the 4th quarter for Bryce Young to lead the team back down the field again and put the Panthers back ahead. I guess the little postmortem here for Carolina is, yeah, there's still a lot of work to do with this team, but you've seen it. You saw in different portions of the season that there is something here to build on, and they're an interesting team to track in the offseason. Yeah,
and they beat the Rams in the regular season. They tested them yesterday. I think it's the kind of thing where like natural selection chose the Rams, and I get that. And we're not pointing to an 8-10 team as a team that should have moved on, but like there are the occasional playoff defeats where you can look at the organization and say, we have something with Dave Canales. I think he's a really good coach. Bryce Young got his 5th-year option picked up. Like Bryce Young showed a lot yesterday. Jalen Coker is an awesome young receiver who was dominant yesterday.
He was incredible in that game.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I thought their defense made life very difficult for the Rams for a big chunk of that game. So it's like the Carolina Panthers, you ended your season with this loss, but like it was a step forward, and you don't go into another offseason wondering if the owner's going to go psycho and fire everyone. You got something here.
We did fire 6 staffers like right before that game, but like football, like I think people did that weren't on the football side. So I think he's just gonna. I think he's got to
fire someone, right? He's got to like he killed the
Tepper
HR
had a
department
much
or something.
better, quieter season than in past years, but that doesn't mean when you have a bad owner, he stays a bad owner, and you just hope that the volcano doesn't erupt and blow everything up. Young, by the way, is signed through 2026. Panthers have an option for 2027. that feels like don't do anything crazy. Like don't give him a big extension. It feels like a quarterback. Yeah, use
Tua trap.
Don't fall in the Tua trap.
More
Use
evidence.
the balance of this contract to really deem whether or not to go long term with him. Okay, that was close though, man. Oh, the Rams lost that game.
What would your friends have done? Just jumped off a...
I mean, it's LA. I mean, they're not going to go nuts. They would have been like, oh, man. Oh, well. Not everyone is psychos like us, you know? Like, it's just like... There's a good amount of perspective that sometimes frightens me when I'm with, like normal sports fans.
Right.
Like, I would have... When they fell behind with, like, what was it? Were they down at the 2-minute warning? They were. Like, I would have been in a ball in the corner if, like... There was a Jets playoff game. There used to be Jets playoff games. No joke. All right. By the way, the playoffs aren't over. The first round's not over, I should say. Tomorrow night, Texans, Steelers, slobber knocker at Acrisure Stadium, and we will be covering that. Not only covering it, we'll be covering it live. So as soon as that game ends, jump on YouTube, where we'll be doing a live stream reaction to that game, and then any other news around the league. That's what we do. And live Sessler, Connor, that's where you want to be. He's just a live wire bouncing with like a water puddle right next to him.
I try to look at the comments sometimes. They can set me off, so I'd maybe turn them off. But we're going to be coming off the knowledge whether Dan and I take full command of this lock competition with a very spicy...
No, I feel terrible about it, as I've said.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got totally locked into a lock with Sessler. What could go wrong? A double lock. He went back to the future with his lock. It's the kiss of death for the poor Houston Texans.
The Steelers' victory would be one of the all-time great moments. So I know what
it's going to happen. It's going to happen. Like, if I know this has been a weird season, but like every bit of empirical evidence points to if Marc Sessler double locked a playoff team, that team will implode.
I am the person that instantly switched my pick from Packers to Bears.
Oh, here's your medal
On our Thursday show. I know that doesn't fit. That doesn't fit part and parcel into the narrative, but
I think you switched the pick because you thought Caleb Williams sounded cool in his press conference.
I did. That's exactly why.
Hashtag analysis. We did all right in the picks, I guess. It's a tough sport. Anyway, Connor, you get home safely to the suburbs of New Jersey. Thank you for helping us out in what's been a very long day for you, I imagine. Check out Connor's. What did you write off that game?
So we did a little bit of a second half analysis of the Eagles offense, spun that into some big picture questions. Is it just a coordinator change? Could it be a quarterback change, a coaching change? What's going to go on there? So check it out.
They go. I'm going to be reading that one.
You
big
just
old
set
smile.
the table for Dan again.
Tomorrow morning, Zuzzer's going to brew a big old pot of coffee. I'm going to sit down on my couch, and I'm going to dial up that Doomsday Conor Orr Eagles piece. All right, everybody. Have a great night, and we'll see you tomorrow live on YouTube. Be there. Till next time, do what you must. Heed the call.